the Trailblazers were able to hold Jokic to a single assist, something no opponent has done all year against him. Dame finished with 34 points, 13 assists. Stephen A., more significant, Lillard's points or Jokic's 1 assist?
Jokic's 1 assist. First of all, Dillard is no surprise to me at all because you see he's a marksman. And the brother shows up at crunch time and he can close. I saw nothing that I didn't expect to see from Portland. I picked them to win this series because without Jamal Murray, I don't think Denver's beating them. You know what the Blazers did? The Blazers did what a lot of people should be doing, particularly against Brooklyn. The Blazers said, we ain't doubling you. We gonna man up, get yours. Let's see what everybody else does. And that's the ingredient to success for Denver when Jokic is getting everybody else involved and you don't know where you're going to get hit from. But when you say go ahead, you do it all by yourself. That's a different kind of challenge for Denver to absorb. And I don't know if they're ready to do that. Melo coming off the bench and doing what he's doing, being booed by the old Denver crowd because he used to be a Nugget, putting up 18 points, drilling those threes. Go ahead, Melo. And of course, C.J. McCollum showed up. And, of course, we know what Damian Lillard brings to the table. But the key is making sure we don't let anybody else beat us. And that is what Portland did. I had to give Terry Stotts credit for that strategy. It's exactly what I would have done, and it worked.
I'm not debating that point. I don't know if it's about let someone else beat us so much as it is, hey, Jokic, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us as a scorer. Because as phenomenal as he is, a big, low down, in the paint, and he can shoot from the outside, what really takes his game to the next level is his court vision and his passing. So if you're going to take that away from him in a sense by saying, go ahead, be the scorer, that's an interesting strategy. He had a monster game. He just didn't have a lot of assists because that wasn't what he was given. He was given the scoring and he took it. No, the most impressive thing to me is Lillard scoring, because even if you anticipate it, if you say, yeah, I expect that from Lillard, to do something in the, affirmative, you can't just, you could say, well, he went out and did it. Lillard, whatever you want to say, when he has a chance, can win. When he's lost in the playoffs, it's because that other team is just better than the team he's with. But when he matches up with a team without Jamal Murray, and it's like, yeah, you know what, this is kind of even. What did Lillard do? The reason he has the reputation he has, because he had a bananas game and his team won. I'm impressed with Lillard.
All right, one more, guys. In an overtime thriller on Saturday, the Bucks took Game 1 despite their MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, not having his best game offensively, going 0 for 13 outside the restricted area. And the most misses without a make in any game of his career, regular season or playoffs. Chris Middleton with that unbelievable game winner. Max, can Giannis carry a team to the final?
If he has a crime partner on his level, I keep bringing this up. So I talk about Shaq and Kobe. Shaq had a prime Penny, not enough. A prime Kobe, a prime. If you're a big, and Giannis is a big, that's what it takes. Let me tell you who Middleton is. Middleton is Rick Fox, real good player, real good two-way player, real good, underrated because he didn't care about his stats. But Shaq wasn't going to win a chip with Rick Fox as the second best player, as good as Rick Fox. He needed Kobe Bryant. Who's Kobe on this team? If you tell me Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton, we're done. There's no Kobe on this team. There's no Dwayne Wade on this team. Shaq looked at Giannis and said, that dude could have Superman. He plays the way I wish I could play, but I wasn't allowed to in that era. He's put up those kind of numbers, Shaq numbers. Who's his crime partner, really? Who did they get him? Drew Holiday's a nice player. Chris Middleton's a nice player. I'm talking about a crime partner. Who's Kobe on that team, Stephen A? That's not on Giannis.
Did Molly ask you a damn question about Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton? I recall the question being, can Giannis carry a team to the finals? Yes or no?
Not
Mr.
by himself?
Yes or no, Mr. Number One
Not
in
by
the
himself?
world? Yes or no?
Not by himself?
Yes or no? I mean,
Not by
because
himself?
you see, here's where you lose talking to me, because I have no problem with you saying somebody else needs to close.
Right.
I have no problem. Because remember, years ago, I used to sit up there and say, LeBron is good for 46 minutes. Those final 2 minutes, I need somebody else. But it still didn't negate me from saying he could be that lead dog on the championship squad because of what he's able to do for 46 minutes. What I'm saying to you about Giannis is here's the problem. It has nothing to do with minutes. It has everything to do with game. What I mean by that, listen, what I mean by that is I told you years ago, if he doesn't work on his perimeter shot, that's the problem.
You identified him as a big correctly.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.